Lordy, lordy, lord. Good morning and good lordy, lord. It's me, host Eric, host Talking About People. Sweet Lord above, carry me home. And why? Why must the sweet Lord above carry me home? Well, it's official. I've officially now gone too long without drugs. Too long. Too long by a large measure. One should not go more than one day without lots of drugs. I have not gotten my new bottle of Adderall yet. And I've been away from Addy for long enough now that I am just like fully thwacked out. You know, it's like... It's like being thwacked out, except... Except instead of... Is this working? Mike? Yeah, I guess. It doesn't seem to be very loud. Anyway. You know the feeling. When you haven't had hardly any drugs in like a week or two. And you're just like... But of course... Here's the problem. If you're not on speed, and you're feeling like doing stuff, and you're out and about, and you're having fun and whatever, you get super hungry all the time. What's up with that? Anyway, it's a Thursday morning. And I finally bit the bullet and went and got more coffee creamer. We've been without coffee creamer for a few days now, too. This coffee's a lot better with creamer in it, I assure you. Oh, sure, I can tell stories about how, hey, actually, this black coffee's pretty good. I can tell those lies. But we all know I'm lying. It's not nearly as good as when it has creamer in it. And that's the simple truth of the matter. You gotta put a lot of creamer in. And if you think that, like, hey, people don't really need very much in life. They just need, like, food and water and shelter and clothes. Bullshit. Total bullshit. They also need cigarettes, weed, whippets, speed, coffee creamer, and I guess, drive-through Cokes from McDonald's. They need all those things. Everybody does. People say all the time things like either they want or they have the right to free healthcare or something like that. Some nonsense like that, But frankly, if we're going to engage in that kind of tomfoolery, let's just cut straight to the chase. What we really want is the right to free drugs, obviously. If you're going to stretch the term right to mean a bunch of nonsense it doesn't mean, why not go big? Why not go for what you actually mean? What we really need is the right to free drugs. Whatever, whenever we want. Now that would be great, you know? I don't know who we would punish for failing to fulfill their duty to provide those free drugs, but if we're going to expand the word right to mean something, forget healthcare. You don't want free healthcare. Healthcare is incredibly shitty. It's like doctors are mostly just scam artists and shenanigan fondlers. Yeah, thwacked. That means I'm all thwacked out, but I'm not even on any speed. I got up like 7 in the morning. It's like, fuck. I'm in this state of being. I gotta call the doctor's office. And then I suspect what's gonna happen is it's gonna be this, okay, well, you gotta come in for another appointment and get more blood work because you haven't seen him in a year or something like that. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, just give me my drugs. I don't need your stupid opinions about things, but I'll go ahead and jump through the hoops for it, I guess. But, you know what I am going to do? If I do have to have another appointment, during that appointment, no. Probably what's going to happen is this. I'll call them today, they'll refill it, but they'll say you need to make an appointment before, you know, or soon, and I'll say, okay, fine, and I'll make the appointment. Regardless, you know, the truth is, I don't really need speed, you know, it's like, yesterday, Rachel and I had a great day, just doing random shit. We went hiking. I want to put together a little video from this one fun thing we did up there. It would be easy to put together because it's probably just 5 30-second clips. But there's this dam up there, right? Yeah, well, it's supposed to be every 3 months or 4 months, but my doctor's pretty, he's cool about it. He's like, well, let's see if we can stretch that a little longer. But yeah, it's supposed to be like that. Anyway. It's like, almost every month I think to myself, do I really want to go back on speed again? Because yesterday I had this really good day. A fun day. Not fantastic or anything, but good day. Well. You know, thanks to COVID, it became possible to get some of those things prescribed online. So, you gotta get a doctor online to prescribe it to you. Well, you don't even smoke pot, do you? So, anyhow, regardless, it's a tricky question for me. Because it's like, I feel good right now in some ways. I feel good about, I feel like I've got plenty of energy. I don't need to tide myself over. I'll probably get the speed today if I want it. That's the point. Is that it's not like it's not going to come in today or tomorrow or whatever. Or that I'm fiending. I'm not fiending. I'm telling the opposite story, really, right now. Well, I wasn't assuming you never smoked pot, Mrs. Mom. I was just figuring it might not be in your bloodstream when they tested you, you know. Doesn't matter when you test me. You can test me any day of the year. And I will definitely test positive for marijuana. But for people who aren't like constant smokers, you know, it's out of your system in a month or something. If you only smoke every couple of months, you could probably find a time when you don't have it. You wouldn't test positive for it. But Tennessee's dumb for being like that. Shut up, Tennessee. There, you feel better now? I told your state to shut up. Anyway, the point is, that bong rip went down the wrong tube. It's never good when what do you mean CJ doesn't do good over on his channel? Seems to be doing good work to me. I find his streams entertaining enough to attend. I think he's being stupid about copyright shit. He's gonna get busted again. But oh, I see. I misread that. I misread that. My mistake. You said, doesn't CJ do good over on his channel? Yes, he does. He does a great job. And in fact, I wanted to say, one of the things I want to say in this stream was, I heard him talking yesterday about he enjoyed, I think he was referring to the story where I told a story where we all went on a trip to Mexico or something like that. But, and he was saying how he'd like to do that, but he feels like he doesn't want to be accused of like stealing Eric's. I just want to make sure this is absolutely clear to everybody. I own no media. And storytelling is a medium, okay? He should absolutely make up shit randomly as he feels like it, even if people are gonna sometimes say, you're just copying Eric. He just needs to tell them to go fuck themselves. He's just being himself, you know? And just like I'm just being myself. And when I'm just being myself and I feel like telling a story about us all going to Mexico, that's what I do. And if he feels like doing that, he should do that too and not think twice about it. You know, it's like, don't worry about that kind of shit. That shit'll cripple you. It's like, I never look at what anybody else is doing for that reason. I don't care. I don't want to know if I'm copying you or not. I don't care if I am copying you. I don't want to see her shit before I type her. I have a typing session with her coming up. So I do not want to see any of her videos before I type her. That's going to influence me. Just until I'm really curious to see her videos. That's for sure. But I'm going to be disciplined about it. And not look at them before I type her, because even though I actually don't think it would really make any difference, I don't want that factor coming in as something I have to account for. You got in all kinds of trouble at CJ's when you said the same thing I just said about him doing whatever he wants and not worrying about copying me? Oh, well, I'm sorry everybody read it wrong. My point is, that kind of stuff makes me really angry when people are like trying to shut other people down because, oh, you're too much like me, or that's not okay because it's sort of like this or whatever. That kind of shit makes me really mad. I don't like that at all. Like, I encourage everybody to make what they feel like making. And I understand that I'm not the first person ever to make up a random story. I won't be the last, you know? Anybody can do it. And I will make the claim that I think I do it pretty damn well for the thing that it is, which is, you know, I mean, you're just making up shit on the fly. But regardless, the point is, I don't like a bunch of copyrighty fucking this is mine shit. I don't like that when it comes to ideas. You know, ideas are everyone's. Well, I think it has to do with me owning my own subjectivity of that. Like, I realize that I don't like that ever being done to me, so I don't ever want to do it to anybody else. I just don't like that. It's like, look, obviously, whatever I'm going to do has some similarity to something. So don't come and be like, oh, that joke's like this one I heard on Meh or whatever. Okay, well, I didn't. If I hear a funny joke, I'll say I heard this funny joke on Meh and credit the thing. You know, if I'm not. So if my joke bears some similarity to some other joke, that doesn't mean I stole it, right? If I actually am quoting a joke, I will credit it. I won't try to take credit for it, claim that I made it up. I've got myriads of millions of little quips and jokes and stuff. I'm not concerned about checking to make sure every one of them is entirely original in the sense that it doesn't sound anything like any other joke anybody's ever made or something, right? It's insane. So my whole point has been for quite a long time now, don't even look at what other people are doing. Just pay no attention to it. I don't give a fuck what other people are doing, and I don't give a fuck if what I'm doing is like what they're doing, because I'm me and I'm just being me and that's it. And fuck off if you don't like it. I would never willfully, knowingly plagiarize. I have absolutely no reason to, obviously, you know? I mean, can you imagine? There's nobody in the world who has less reason to plagiarize than an ENTP. They've got plenty of things to say. They don't need to plagiarize. But it is the case that things resemble other things sometimes in some ways, and it's like, so what? Well, thanks, Winston's mom. That's nice to read. I mean, sure, it's not that I don't have my critiques of CJ's stream. I did think that conversation about Boogie Nights and Scarface went on for far too long yesterday. And it was far too cinophilic for me. Is that the word? Cinephile, right? One is like an audiophile for movies. It got a little cinophiliac for me in there. But you know, those are minor complaints, really. If you think about it, those are pretty minor complaints. You know, Winston's mom, I don't know how important it is, the SI aspect, but for me, it was critically important that Corey explain aesthetics to me. I don't think I ever would have gotten anywhere without a clear map about why aesthetic choices are good or bad or not, and why it's okay to, he's the one who said to me, because I used to reject these things. He said, the songs you come up with that sound familiar, but you can't say exactly what they sound like. They don't sound like anything specific exactly. Those are the ones you keep, not the ones you get rid of. And, like, that explanation of NI to me was totally life-changing. You know, it's like, it made all the difference in the world to have somebody tell me, stop rejecting commonality. Stop rejecting universality in favor of being unique or original or different. Because otherwise, you just wander this path of aimless, like, artistic subjectivity. You know, where you're just expressing your feelings or whatever. You never accomplish anything great. Or even good. You know, it's like, I don't know if I've ever accomplished anything great, but at least I know where I'm aiming now. Generally. I know the vague direction. Whereas before, I was purposely shooting in the wrong direction. I mean, that's how dramatic a shift having it explained to me was. Okay, so what you're saying is your personal experience didn't include the right people telling you the right things about the right things for you to be able to benefit from an SI experience in the way that I did. Maybe. Is that what you're saying? I don't know. At least at the same time that I did. We're obviously still ongoing people. So, you know. We don't cease to exist as ongoing people during the course of a live stream, although it seems like we do. I'm going to get myself some more coffee. Would anybody like a piece of this cheese Danish I got? There's plenty. I actually don't want a piece of it myself right now. But you can see, I'll get to it later, but you can see there's plenty of it because it's one of these big ones. What is the direction I'm aiming at? Artistically, it's universal resonance with just the right mix of archetypal. I mean, the goal is to set a new archetype. That would be the ultimate goal, right? To establish a new archetype, to be something so uniquely, perfectly great and true, an example of something that it sets a standard that from then on a lot of other things are examples of that kind of thing. But it's almost impossible to do that now because almost all the sort of metaphysical ecosystem of media, you know, ways of expressing artistic expression have the low hanging niches have been filled, right? So instead what you want to do is have a song that's an archetypal instance of a very broad archetype. So, like, now that's a good fucking rock song, you know? Like, for example, because I want it. You know that song by The Hives? I think it's by The Hives. I'm not entirely sure. But it's on one of my playlists, and it's a great fucking rock song. It is just a kick-ass rock song. rock song is a broad archetype. So it's not like, if you make a kick-ass reggae song, fine. You might have made a kick-ass reggae song, right? But that's a lot more limited in its capacity to be kick-ass in some way, or to provide in other words, it's a lot harder to. It may be sort of equivalently difficult to make a kick-ass reggae song or a kick-ass rock song, but it's much more difficult to be a good reggae band than a good rock band, because there's a lot less room in a reggae band artistically to work, right? So basically the point is, well, for me, I can't aim specifically at any concept like that. The closest example I can come to of aiming specifically at a concept like that is the song What's the Big Problem? So he came here with her, and what's the big problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate blaming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's got you reframing for him. That song I wrote specifically, the lyrics, I consciously, willfully wrote lyrics that I thought, okay, make a song for women that they're going to say, ah, yes, you go, or something like that. So, it's basically I'm telling, in the song, it's like a friend telling a woman, girl, be done with that guy. He doesn't appreciate you enough, okay? So now there I had an actual archetype target in mind. That's a concept for a song lyrics thing, right? Girl, you get rid of that man. He doesn't love you enough. Is a perfect example of an archetype, okay? So I tried to craft the lyrics to that song to match that thing, that archetype. And I think I did a pretty good job of being both cool and original sounding. It's a little wordy, but having a good message and being resonant with women like I wanted it to. Now, that doesn't mean it's popular with women or something, but I feel on my own metrics as though I accomplished my mission in that instance. But almost never is it that way. That's the exception. I have to instead start not really knowing where I'm going. I'm like playing with mashed potatoes, and then it starts to become something. I go, oh no, this is supposed to be this. I see. Wait, okay, I think this is supposed to be this. No, this, no. This is NI ignoring in an NE-DOM, right? I'm having to fumble around. That's a gobby weatherman. That lyric is from a gobby weatherman. You find modernity is so banal. Eric Adderall is for horses. Took them myself one point. And damn. I know. Well, the point is, I'm feeling pretty thwacked out right now. Hi, new group. I just posted on your last ESP girl session. She reminds me of Kate from Type Match. I don't know who that girl is. Yeah, because you thought it said maternity. You wrote out all those lyrics when I first put up that song, which is quite an undertaking. There's a lot of lyrics there, and you got them almost all right, except you heard modernity is maternity, which is perfectly understandable. And you probably still think of it as that way, and that's probably why you link it to a Kimberly song, even though that song has nothing to do with Kimberly. It was just recorded at the driveway of Kimberly's house. Ah, I see. Well, I you know who I typed last night? If you've ever watched the show Naked and Afraid of Love, there's this one like Hawaiian lady on it And and the lady I typed last night is exactly like her. Just like exactly like her. So if you want to know who I typed last night and she never decides to publish, which she probably or might not, because she thought she was an ENFP coming in and she was an ESFP. But regardless, and seemed a little disappointed about that. But regardless, she's exactly like that lady on that show. So I think I might even have a clip of her in one of my videos that we made about that show. So we made a couple videos about that show. The Hawaiian Girl. I forget what her name is, but if you watch a few clips of that lady, or if you watch that show, you know what I'm talking about. The lady I typed last night is exactly like that lady. It was a fun typing session. If she were to decide to publish, I think it would be entertaining. But, you know, at the same time, I have to acknowledge that it might not make her look like the sharpest tool in the shed. But, and I can understand why she might not want to publish that. But it's $65. I lowered my price to $65. I'm keeping it there. I decided for the indefinite future. So you watched Free Me for a year before engaging? That's hilarious. I would never do that. I can't do that. I can't schmooze her and tell her she'll help the community. I can't do that. That wouldn't be nice. It wouldn't be fair of me. I always make sure to do the exact opposite, in fact, to reassure everybody that whatever they want is totally fine. There's no pressure. If you decide you want to publish, go ahead. Otherwise, we just assume you're not, and that's totally okay. Because I don't want people... I want people to be able to use a typing session however they want to use it. You know, I don't want them to be compelled to be part of this public affair that they don't want to be part of. So, I mean, to some extent, this lady is still part of this public affair, right? Because I'm talking about her, but I never mentioned her name. So, you have no idea who she is. And she asked me to use what's it called? An alias name for her in the typing session, and I did, and you can't see her name in it. So if she does decide to publish, her actual name will never actually be seen by anybody. You know, New Groove, I would like to think that no matter what my mood is, I do a good job in the typing sessions. I don't think it's ever the case. I mean, it's not the case that I don't sometimes do a bad job in the typing sessions, but I don't think that's linked to my mood per se. I don't know. It's unpredictable as to when I do a bad job. It's because I'm NIing too much and TISIing too little. But I really try to make sure that when I'm on the clock, that the person has my full attention, and I'm trying hard and doing my very best to type on. Now, granted, I'm also pulling bong rips the whole time, but that's just how I roll. So, you know. Hi, Rachel Gerard. Are you a smidge or schmerard today? Are you feeling schmitchel schmararty? Will we ever see a discussion between me and C.S. Joseph? I very seriously doubt it. Yeah, I'm actually pretty attentive to that too, though. Like, in other words, if I know I have a typing session at Meow, I will make a point of getting some sleep before it. I take it pretty seriously. I don't. My FE third doesn't let me give someone a bad product they paid for. C.S. Joseph's just being practical. He's just prudent in his decision making. There's no benefit for him. It's lose-lose. Pragmatic, that's the word I was looking for. He's just being pragmatic. He's just being pragmatic is... I don't know. Professionalism and Eric don't really go together that well. But, like I said, my FE third can't allow me to give you a bad product if you're paying for something. You got to walk away impressed, you know? And the thing is, it's not for... Yeah, he's got his little business going and whatever. Why? But I tell you what. I can guarantee you that nobody's got fewer complaining clients than me. Because I do a thorough job of every time of trying to understand them. I don't spend the time lecturing them about typology, like I've heard sometimes other people sometimes do, or giving them tests or papers to fill out or whatever. I actually spend all the time trying to get to know who they are, testing their skills, linking them back to other things, checking to see if they understand why I'm doing things. And then at the end, I always give a person a chance to tell me what they thought they were coming in, and to double check, like I did with the ESFP, statutes ENFP. And so I said, okay, well here, let's do a set of direct any test questions, and let me demonstrate what an any dom sounds like. And then by the end of it, she was convinced, you know. So in that regard, I feel very confident that I have the fewest complaining clients. I have the fewest people walking away unsatisfied by what they purchased. Because it's pretty hard to deny that I've spent a full hour asking them questions and getting to know them in a lot of different ways that are informative about personality type. And my explanations at the end are always based on the data I attained in the session, not random shit that I might have inferred or something like that, right? And also my explanations are always matching truthfully to my conclusiveness. So it's not always the case that I'm as sure or unsure, you know? Like, last night was cut and dry, 100%, zero chance wrong, ESFP. I would bet my life on it, you know? It's like there's 0% chance possibility that one's anything but. So, you know, I mean, other times though, I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure you're a meow. But I can't really pin it down exactly because you're not one of these three polars. If you're one of these three polars, then I can pin it down exactly usually without too much difficulty. Right? If you're a TI polar, it's shockingly obvious. If you are SI polar, it's shockingly obvious. Yeah, sometimes I may be having an off day, and that's true. I do have off days, but they're not predictable along with the cycle. In other words, I'm not necessarily better or worse at certain points in the cycle. You know what I'm saying? it seems to be probably more linked to particular factors, like maybe I get overly influenced by something that happened shortly beforehand. Sometimes I wonder if I get like two people in a row that I think are ESFJs, I'm thinking, okay, do you got ESFJ on the brain or something? Because you normally don't get any of these. Why would there suddenly be two in a row? Am I like, did like seeing those connections in their rare occurrence last time cause me to overlook for them this time a little bit or something? That's true, Taha. I mean, $65 is not that much. But I had the same amount of complaints when I charged $100, which is none. It's really difficult to complain because it's really difficult to argue that oh, Bobby. I'm not saying it's bad. I have never said, I'm not, well, I have probably in the past, but since since for a while now, as I increasingly get better at being a good person, I am not saying there's anything wrong with being an ESFP or they're bad or anything. I am just saying that she didn't want to be one. Have I ever taken speed before? No. Never. Never would I do that. No, I try to take it before everyone, yeah. It's like I try to pop one before I start the session, if I have them. If it's a good time to take one, If I'm feeling sleepy or whatever. Yeah, Winston's mom. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Yeah. Yeah, it makes me pay extra attention, The thing is, like, amphetamines don't necessarily make me extra talkative. If what I'm doing is trying to figure out a puzzle in front of me, which is what type is this person, then it can just make me extra focused and good at that. I remember one time I was watching a baseball game. I don't remember what the player's name was. I think it was a pretty famous player, but I don't remember their name right now. But it was the playoffs, and did you like that? Did you like that dual level communication there, Winston's mom? That was called communicating with TI and FE. I communicated with TI on the verbal plane, and I communicated with FE on the physical plane. Look at the process happening. Taha says Intuitars, new word acquired. One of my favorite success stories. And see, that's why it doesn't matter. Like what I was saying before about CJ and stuff. So Taha, I made up the word Intuitard in a skit where I was playing the role of an ESTP making fun of intuitives, okay? And then, since then, I have had it come back around to me with an actual censor actually using it to try to attack me, not knowing that I made up the word, right? Now that's a truly delightful experience. Like, beyond anything that anyone can measure. And to see Why? Why does it do this? Because of what it is inherently. Not because of anything me, right? Because the word Intuitars just naturally goes, right? It's like what Bobby said the other day. No, you should not copyright it. It's like what Bobby told me the other day. Where's the low-hanging fruit that I was missing that's right in front of my face? Well, it's B double P. I'm B double P in the house, y'all. Baby pig poop face. You know? Yeah, he hoisted me on my own Intuitard flag. That's right. So, what do I mean, my playlist? Yeah, so B double P is definitely one of my names now for baby pig poop face, and I didn't make it up, but I am going to continually use it, and then soon enough it'll just become part of my clothing, right? Because it's a great idea, and Bobby suggested I use it. Why shouldn't I? I like it. It's great. And so the same thing applies to everybody else, right? It's like, yes, we're all going to use little bits of shit from various places. That's fine. And to the person earlier who said CJ is boring in his live streams, yes, that's true. Okay, he is more boring than I am. I'm more engaging with the constant patter or whatever. He's constantly trying to talk about stuff. He's messing with shit on the screen. Yeah. But you know what the key thing is? When I first started YouTubing, I was incredibly boring. I started YouTubing, making videos, just uploads, not live streaming, videos of me having conversations like this with myself. So, okay, if we think of truth as having, well, if there were 3 metrics, then, but still, no, I guess it's, I'd upload videos like that, okay? So you gotta understand that people need their time to fuck around exactly as they feel like without stressing about impressing people. You just gotta let CJ have his fuck around time. It's still fun there because at least it's the same people in the chat and it's the same casual whatever, we're just hanging out and fucking around attitude as it is around here, you know? But I agree that if I were just watching the live stream, if I weren't in there starting shit with Jonathan Basanti. You know what's funny is I called Jonathan Basanti shit for brains in the live chat yesterday. That was shortly after Rachel and I had a challenging physics kind of question in the car, and we had said, who's the nerdiest guy we know? We should ask Jonathan Basanti. And like 30 minutes later, I'm calling him shit for brains in the live stream. Anyway, this is a physics question we wanted to ask Jonathan Basanti. So there's these trees. This is an area of hilarity. Well, you know, I'm sure that CJ will at some point decide that he doesn't want to participate with the other person. Like, you'll notice I am not particularly receptive to people saying, hey, can I come in? Taylor's cool. Taylor, if he says it out, I'm always like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll take Taylor. Sure. Taylor's earned it. But, in general, no, I don't want to talk to you, probably. To the extent that I think conversations, I would talk to Lady Lou again. I'd like to make another video with her. Those videos, the 2 videos from before with her came out good. I'd like to make another video with her. That'd be cool. Oh, he's around. You know, he's doing his thing. Flow state. I should call him flow state, I guess. To be clear, because there are more than one Taylor out there, and there's, if I say, you know, a lot of people don't know who I'm talking about if I say Taylor because they think I'm in flow state. So anyway, here's the thing, the question. Question we were saying in the car, we wanted to know the answer to, and determined that the nerdiest person we know who might be able to tell us the actual answer was probably Jonathan Basanti, is this. So, we live in an area with trees. Some of them are susceptible to getting blown over in windstorms. But let's say, like this pole tree. This pole tree. I've talked about the pole tree before. It's this tree that's been made to grow unnaturally wide by supporting its boughs with poles. So if it didn't have those poles, it would never be able to get those boughs out that wide because they'd be too heavy and they'd break, right? But there's this tree, this pole tree. I didn't see it, but I don't know what to say about it. So, okay, pole trees. Everybody get the concept of a pole tree? You get an oak tree, a live oak tree, and it'll grow out some and up, right? But as it grows out, the ones that are growing too straight out will break off because they get too heavy. So, these people have put poles under all of those. From a long time ago, they've been putting poles, and they've got this big ass wide tree that's super supported by poles, okay? And so I start thinking, well, how could you, if you know there's a windstorm coming, would it be possible to prevent your tree from getting blown over by the windstorm by putting a bunch of big fans on canopy level poles, all blowing away from the tree, so that the wind gusts blowing towards the tree get run into by the wind gusts going away from the tree? That was the question we wanted to ask Jonathan Basanti. Maybe somebody here has an idea about it as well. In other words, could you use fans in a windstorm to prevent your tree from getting blown over? Giant fans. These are the kind of questions that keep me up at night. My beloved Rachel Lapalosa, she with whom I sexual intercourse. Good morning. It's a sunshiny day. Yeah, can you blow away wind? Right. Can you blow wind? Can you fight wind with wind? That's what I really want to know. Like, look, we already know you can actually fight fire with fire by burning a zone of barrenness or something, right? And then when the fire comes to the zone of barrenness, it won't have anything to burn. So it's possible to fight fire with fire, although It's not really fighting fire with fire. It's fighting fire with fuel removal. But regardless, is it possible to fight water with water? Well, yeah. So if you're squirting a hose at me and I'm squirting a hose at you, the two waters will go like this when they hit each other, and then they spread out so neither person gets squirted with the hose, presumably. Now, can you fight wind with wind? That's the question. Can you equalize the wind? Somehow use giant fans during a windstorm to protect your tree from being blown over. Can you somehow do that? We know you can fight earth with earth. Like, if you're making a big pile of dirt, I could throw dirt clods at it and knock it over. That's how you fight dirt with dirt. Can you fight spirit with spirit? That was a little more trickier to come up with an example of. If the wind is in a steady direction, even if it's gusty, so let's say, let's say it is in a steady direction. But it changes the amount of gusts. So sometimes it gets kind of still, and sometimes God versus devil is a spiritu versus a spiritu. Conscience versus temptation. Let's say you had a big tree and you wanted to make sure it didn't get blown over in an upcoming windstorm. What would be the best way to do that? I mean, presumably you could build a big brick enclosure around it and then take it down after the windstorm. But that would be quite an operation. I don't know if a tent is going to do the job unless it's really well anchored. Maybe some like tarp some distance away or whatever. And then some angled up to make it go over it. No, we're not blowing up the tree. We're trying to save the tree from the windstorm. From the hypothetical windstorm. Hypothetical windstorm is a good name for a racehorse. And this hypothetical windstorm coming around the turn, 4-5 wide. It's going to take a super horse, and here comes hypothetical windstorm, charging on the outside. Hypothetical windstorm, unbelievable. Hypothetical windstorm for the win. That's my imitation of use many poles around the tree like a teepee. Okay. So is your goal to redirect the wind so that it goes like up and over the tree? Or is your goal to just block it so it goes falls over? And keeping in mind, we're trying to save the tree, but also have the solution be temporary. Because the windstorm is going to be temporary. Run cabling from the tree to the ground? Well, but what if the wind's blowing down? What do you mean wind doesn't blow down? Trees planted on windy sites may need to be staked. This is done by placing two stakes on opposite sides of the trunk in the ground outside the original root ball. They should be placed perpendicular to the prevailing wind, attached to the trunk no higher than 2/3 of the tree's height. Huh. Well, apparently somebody's already come up with an answer to this question. Thanks a lot, Google. But that doesn't prevent the big branches from getting blown off. The problem is the branches break, not that the tree gets blown over. I'm not worried about the tree itself getting blown over, okay? We're not worried about that in this hypothetical windstorm. In this hypothetical windstorm, we're only worried about it losing its beautiful long boughs. And I don't think that solution is going to prevent it from losing its beautiful long boughs. Why was it taking so long? We don't want to make the tree less wide, less unnaturally wide. We want to protect its unnatural wideness. Obviously, making it less wide, make it less susceptible to breakage, but that's not the point. There's a critical wind speed around 90 miles per hour at which almost all tree trunks break, irrespective of their size or species, according to a new study done by researchers in France. If you throw a big tarp over it, okay, I do think this. I think this is a good idea. If you throw a big tarp over it, then at least you're exchanging two things. You're making it, you're widening out the surface area that's being pushed against, right? So then you trade breaking boughs for increasing chance of the tree itself being uprooted and blown over like that, right? I know the wind is only 3 miles an hour. That's what makes it a hypothetical windstorm, okay? Damn. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, good. The point is, of course, David Lynch's snobbery is ultra gay. That's the point I was trying to make the other day in CJ's stream. And I sure got a lot of pushback on it. No, it's a fine. It's fine to do that because it really is better in some ways. That's all he's saying. That's not all he's saying. He's engaged in unsustainable douchebaggery, I say. Unsustainable douchebaggery. If you fed the tree iron as a diet for a few months, it would just make the boughs heavier and more likely to break. You should feed it helium instead. Now there's a notion. If we could just feed the tree helium for a few months before it, I just like to start shit. It's the truth. I don't give a fuck. I can't help it. I still have some of my old ways about me. I try not to be that way, but I've always been that way. I used to be so much worse. You wouldn't have been able to tolerate me. David Lynch, he made movies like with Laura Dern in them. He made Twin Peaks. He's all arty and self-important. So I'm just like, no, David Lynch, suck it, David Lynch. Why is my internet being lame? My internet's being lame. I probably should reset it. Now, you can't possibly think you've experienced the film if you watched it on a Mia. Go fuck yourself. You can't possibly think you know what I can possibly think about my own experience. Right? What is up with my internet? What's going on here? Oh, he's Sicilian, huh? That explains it. That explains the problem. We're talking about Sicilian. You know what they say in Sicily? They say, it sure is fulfilling being Sicilian. That's their saying that they have. You could hire many turbulent tree protectors and have each of them hold a branch of the tree steady. I agree. You know, the thing is, and it would be a dangerous job because a lot of the people would have to be standing on ladders during this windstorm, holding the bough of the tree. And they run the risk of themselves of blowing over. Do you know the limits of what I am capable of thinking of? I don't think you do. I agree, Siegfried. I agree. You know, there could be a company, they call themselves the Turbulent Tree Triumvirate. And what they do is they promise to hold branches of your trees during a windstorm. We don't promise to prevent them from breaking, but we do promise to hold them. David Lynch, happiness working. The art spirit sort of became the art life. And I had this idea that you drink coffee, you smoke cigarettes, and you paint, and that's it. Maybe girls come into it a little bit. But basically, it's the incredible happiness of working and living that life. Is that an idea you have? Oh my God. Your idea was to be lazy? Your idea was to be a lazy coffee drinking smoker? It's not an idea, moron. The gall of this fuck. My idea was that I was going to be a lazy coffee drinking smoker. Everything about this guy just smacks of meh to me. I don't want to hear a goddamn positive word about him. I don't like him. And things that are intended to not so subtly draw comparisons between him and me fails to do so utterly. Even if he were doing exactly the same thing as me, in exactly the same way, he'd somehow be doing it wrong. Okay? Right. In exchange, he gets good hair. I get to be right about everything, and he gets good hair. That's why I have hats. Well, the thing is, I am a lazy coffee drinking smoker. Except, I'm actually... Yeah, I'm pretty lazy. But I don't think it's some grand idea or vision or whatever. It's not something to be proud of. I mean, it's not something to be ashamed of either, but... Like, don't... Stop being David Lynch. That's my point. You're being too David Lynch. And you just need to stop. I don't care if you say the sky is blue. No, David Lynch, you're saying it wrong. David Lynch, you officially joined Bill Walton and fucking shit band, Dave Matthews Band, and Kings of Leon. You officially joined them as persona non grata around here. Okay? Persona non grata, I say. I don't want any David Lynch around here. I don't want any Dave Matthews around here. And I don't want any Bill Walton around here. I don't want any Kings of Leon around here. Okay? I'm going to put up a sign. It says, these 4 things are not allowed. I don't like those things. The thing is, I haven't disliked all of David Lynch's movies. I remember watching a couple of them back when I was young and kind of liking them, I guess. But I don't remember liking them. I remember some dramatic scenes that stick in my head. But they aren't really very nice scenes. I'm not really glad to have them in my head, especially. Yeah, persona non grata. Like line underneath that, and then, bullet point. David Lynch, Dave Matthews, Bill Walton, any member of Kings of Leon. But especially the singer. Not allowed. You are not allowed here. Bill Walton especially. You are really Oh, if you were come here, I just would have to yell at you somehow. I'd say, will you stop broadcasting basketball games, please? Do whatever you want in life. I know you're a great guy, supposedly, and very generous and good and everything. Will you please stop broadcasting basketball games? You make it impossible to watch them with your horrible broadcasting. What's my feet like? Like this. Hello, how you doing? This is my feet. No, you're just one foot. You shut up over there. I'm both the feet today. No, you're just one foot. Alright, well you come up here too then. Alright. Here I am, I'm the other foot. Look at me. Whee! Yeah, oh yeah. Hello there, my name is Foot, and I am singing a song. I've got 5 toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 along. And look at me go, and look at me wiggle, and look at me dance around. 'Cause my name is Lefty Foot Down, and I am the Lefty Clown, Lefty Foot Clown. Yeah, yeah. But I am the right foot, so often neglected. You can see my heel, dead like the police said. Both of my feet have aspirations to perform in musical theater. So I said I'd give them a couple of minutes to do their thing. I know. Just be nice to them, you know. So. Let them dream. Let them have their dreams, okay? I'm going to put cotton ball in their ears right now, but we all know that my feet have no chance to make it in musical theater, but they really, it's important to them. Well, Karma's Pimp, that's great. It's really nice of you to say, actually. I'll let them know that you said that. No, we have weed. Although we're about to run out of weed. But we're cool. So... I mean, is there any part of the body that it can be visible without it somehow being like yiggitied in a weird way? Ay, ay, ay. That's why I have Bradley do my makeup every morning, because people fetishize my poop face. They see it and it's all of its poopy glory. You think you have good NE, but it's not passive. You need to deliberately let it out of its cage. Bye, Bobby. Don't forget to say hello to people. Greeting people is important in making friends. I'm sure it was not my feet that got those viewers. Just coincidence. I do have somewhat large feet. They are... I'm about a 12, size 12, 12 and a half sometimes, depending on the kind of shoe that I purchase. It's very important to get shoes that fit well and are comfortable. And also it's important to wear the right footwear for a given occasion. Here's a mistake Rachel and I have made multiple times now that we need to fucking learn from, okay? So, yesterday, we're going on this little walk up at Bailey Canyon, where if you happen to see this agave video I published yesterday, it's an agave short. Thank you if you're still here for the comment on that, Bobby. I appreciated that. It shows how big this agave is by Rachel coming and standing next to it. And anyway, that's where we were walking. Well, I know the path there is very gentle. I'm just gonna walk in flip flops. It's just like, most of it's actually paved road up to the top of this hill, and then it just gets to be a little bit of dirt path, and then there's this little bridge. And anyway, so I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna walk in flip flops. And she's like, well, I guess I'll be fine in flip flops too. But of course, what I need to remember is I never, ever, ever stay on the path. I always see something over there I want to clamber up the side of a hill to go mess with. Put on fucking shoes, Eric. And of course, Rachel, Effie Toole, asks me whether she should put on shoes. And I say, well, maybe. And then she says, well, you're going to be okay with flip-flops. I'm sure I will too. I said, yeah, it's fine. It's not a bad... I think of the trail, right? Well, it's not a bad trail at all. It's an easy trail. But I'm not thinking about how I actually behave on the trail, which is to go off of it almost immediately. Thank you, Dallas, for noting that was one hell of an agave. Blooming. So this is its last year of life, but it will be the parent, hopefully, of many future generations or many future baby agaves as it launches its massive bloom. The agave is such a weirdly, beautifully tragic story for a plant, It lives like 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. And finally, when it gets particularly wet winter, a particularly heavy rain, like that thing probably didn't decide to bloom, that it was going to bloom until like 5 days ago. Because that's when we had a couple of days of super heavy rain. And then it decided, okay, it's wet enough. I've got enough water that I can fucking put up this big ass thing. Because it literally grows an entire tree out of it in about a week. And it spends all of its life energy doing that. Then it blooms, and it has this massive flower that probably does in sections, like a lot of these long flowers do, where the bottom ones open up, then the next ones, and the next ones, 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 and although it actually comes out into these big things here, but regardless, it has lots of little flowers on it, and I guess it produces some kind of seed, produces seeds that blow far and wide, and then it dies. It's been 100 years slowly growing big enough, waiting. And finally it gets super wet weather. It says, now's my time. And then its time is over in like a month. Yeah, it's sad, huh? Well, that's the story of the coffee plants. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous for us all to have FI feelings about a fucking plant. Specifically, just not even a plant, but a species, right? Like, it's a way of reproducing. It's a way of getting all the stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it's so evocative of certain aspects of the human experience, I guess, that we just personify it and feel it. And I feel it too. It's sad. I need to, well, Siegfried, turns out you're a cold-hearted demon. I'm sorry to be the one to inform you. You probably didn't know, but yeah, you're a cold-hearted demon. You're a cold-hearted snake. Look into my eyes. He's been telling lies. You're a cold-hearted snake. Look into my eyes. He's been telling lies. Is it love or you're playing? There are... Well, I swat flies. And my reason is they're super annoying. They try to land on my stuff. Like just going out in the world seeking insects to smash? Yeah. That would annoy me. I would not be happy about it. I mean, it depends on what kind of insects, I guess, too. It's like if it's roaches, fine. For no good reason. If it's praying mantises, it would make me mad. Isn't that weird? There's no real reason to prefer one over the other. Yucca. Yucca doesn't have a good name for a food product. It sounds too much like yuck. Right, I was getting up to get myself more coffee and then I got sidetracked answering Siegfried's question. Walk my word, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or, it might be the sound of your hello. This music I hear, I get misty the moment you're near. But then, the moment you depart, the mist departs with you. It makes me wonder, perhaps you are the cause of the mist? These are the questions that have baffled scientists for generations. So, anyhow, I think I'll probably I had an INTJ employee once, and she was the best note creator in the world. She knew what info was important and how to consolidate the good info. It's an important skill. Agave nectar is a nice alternative for vegans who like honey. Good to know. It's also acceptable for honeys who like vegans. INTJs are the bee's knees. If INTJs are the bee's knees, which personality type is the bee's shins? Well, hello, kitty wonderful friend. Alright. I thought we discussed eschewing. I thought we agreed there'd be no eschewing of things around here. It's okay. I think we'll allow eschewing from now on. Don't be insulting to the ISFJ, Siegfried. I should type police lie AQ BQ. La la AQBQ. Okay, Siegfried, my bad. I misread it. Is it Thursday today? It is. It's Thursday. You know what they say about Thursday? It's the day of the week most resembles Schmur's Day. The day that you're most likely to schmur. To schmur or to schmur, depending on your dialect, is an alternative to meowing. Is Trouble Bubble trying to get into the nest? Not at the moment, I don't think. Let me see where he is. He's been around and about a lot, you know. He's sitting on a chair outside. Okay, so these things were on the other chair. I want to make sure that he's not playing king of the chairs. So now there are 2 chairs available. And also, he has been moved off of the chair momentarily. So if he wants to grab the chair, she can grab the chair. What are you doing, mister? No. Do not chase Pee-Pee back inside. No. Pee, go ahead. You do what you want. So she was out there and he kind of like came over to her and chased her inside. These cats. Okay, I think I'm going to play a song and then stop live streaming for now. And I may go inside and take a little nap. And then decide what to do after that. I'm not sure. I have trouble knowing what I'm going to do later. It's a struggle for me, you know. This is a good song for today because it really truly is a cloudy day in Los Angeles. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. God, David Lynch is so self-important. Makes me mad. I wanna wag my finger more at him. Silly nonsense. There's a lot of birds around here. We got peacocks, we got parrots, we got crows, we got monkeys. There's shit tons of different birds. It's like living in an aviary around here. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. Today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving to those who stay awake all night, and voices telling you to give in will try to sap your will to fight. But whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten on is sort of based on what I see here and also on what I avoid. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we've run out of time. Struggles past, trouble still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I've got something to say, something to say. That was good. That's what I had to say to David Lynch. That's what I had to say to David Lynch. That's what I had to say to David Lynch. So take that, David Lynch. You're on my shit list now, officially. For no particular reason except I got into an argument about something with somebody over you. So that's reason enough. Mr. Lynch, if that is your real name. Thanks for listening, Mom. Anywho, catch y'alls on the flip side. I'll be back soon. And we'll see you later. Okay, Eric. See you later. Yeah, see you later. Okay, bye now. Okay, bye. Okay, goodbye. Okay, bye.